All right. Omi tofo, everybody. Hope you are having a good evening, afternoon, or nighttime, wherever you are and when you are watching this. Um, we are going to we're going to get into something tonight, today. Excuse me while I share this. Let me see if I can share this before we get into it. Let everybody get in here for a second. Whoever decides to come. I don't know why it's not showing. One second. Here we go. Let me just share this real quick. All right. So, as you guys know, I have just uploaded a video not too long ago, and I call this the ultimate Hakka Kungfu uh, formula, right? And one of the things I want to stress before we begin is when interpreting or, receiving different principles, it's almost like a concoction, right? You don't want to think of them, or it's like an equation. You don't want to think of it separate, right? Because that's left brain thinking, right? Traditionally, um, Asian cultures, they kind of specialize as a whole nation to combine both sides of the hemispheres of the consciousness, right? And so you don't want to do separate thinking so much, right? That's left side. And that has its place for analyzing and, dissecting things, right? It's how you find out which one is yin and which one is yang, right? But at the same time, the right side of the brain or the consciousness is deals with addition, right? Combining, right? Obviously, when two things combine, you know, different properties change, right? Look at ice, right? Essentially, it's water, but combined with the element of cold, right? Boom, right? But with heat, it turns into a different property, right? So when you're thinking about these formulas and these principles combined, they make something totally different. Not different, but you know, they appear, right? And then they can also go away and they can change, right? That's why, like in Bagua, they don't say Bagua different techniques. They say Bagua palm changes, things of that nature, right? And if you combine a circle and a square on top of one another, that makes a whole different, you get what I'm trying to say, okay? So when you look at these formulas that I display in a real time, don't think about it so much as separate principles, right? See how long you can hold it and keep adding on to set principles as shown throughout the video. See how long you can hold it, right? To practice your focus, right? And I guarantee you, by the end of the video, you will have a very full picture, but internally, when you start adding these principles, right? For example, The part of your consciousness that you use when you're reading is different from the consciousness that you use when you're watching something in action, right? So combining those two paying attentions, right? Those type of focuses, what does that create? What does that help, right? Now, when I made these videos, right, and I added on the principles, at first I was just kind of cutting them up to feature highlights, right? There's still more that I haven't shown you in this video, right? I don't want to give everything away because I am going to be fighting professionally, and I do have my opponents watching my videos, right? I know who you are, and that's okay, right? Because without Goku, there would be no the Vegeta that we know, and without Vegeta, there would be no Goku. Goku trained his butt off to even match Vegeta, and still he didn't have enough, right? But he pushed Goku. So for my ops and my enemies, right, who want to see me fall, right, who can't wait to throw a right hook on me, right? Thank you, right? So when I share these videos, at first I was spicing them up, right, because I know I had more enemies watching me at that time. Okay. But now things are kind of calmed down a little bit before they probably most likely will ramp up again, right? Before that takes place, I just want to show you what it's like, what goes through my mind as I'm uh, showing the first video that I've shown with really my sparring broken down like that in real time. So what I'm saying is like this is what the process of my thoughts was right from the beginning of the match to the end, with a little bit cut out here and there, but for the most part it's right there. Okay, so without further ado, right, here we go. And hey, listen, man, if you guys don't like metal, man, I got two words for you, and it's not what you think it is. What I'm saying is that I got two words for you, dude. And the first one oh boy, what was I gonna say? That completely threw me off. Basically, what I'm saying is that when you're using stuff in real combat, dude, like it's not it's not the same thing as if you're listening to meditation, right? Or Chinese music, right? Sometimes you gotta go there in order to get something out. Okay, so let's break this down. Okay, cultivate and maintain a rooted pivot axis. Now, if you watch, notice one thing, what happened before I shifted my weight. Look at the rocking. Look at that. Okay. This is very natural. Very natural. The whole time. I don't use it until I have to, but I maintain it. I'm able to do that. And as you guys should know, the first principle you should be learning when you go to any Kung Fu school is the stances. Stances are the most important. Without a good stance and consistent stance work, you can't use it. You can't use Kung Fu. Again, as I told you in my last breakdown, stances, you're always in a stance no matter what you move, because this is a full body system. If you guys remember, I think there was a show in Baki, right? Or episode in Baki where uh there was like Muhammad Ali's son had came, right, and fought in the tournament, right? And they thought he had no legs, right? Because he was just a boxer. But as they soon found out, at least Baki did, he was using his feet. even though he was boxing. You can kick the ground and have that propel your hands. You are using your legs the whole time. But you can only get that sensitivity, Kung Fu wise, to use your hands with it if you practice stillness. Science. Always go back to the science when you're talking about theories. And if you look up the science of stance work and the gait of moving, it is well known scientifically that the most powerful part of the gait action is in the stance gait. Before you push up, before you raise your foot to traverse, there has to be stillness in the joint, in the part of the gait. Okay. So when that tells me when moving, doing my kung fu, if I don't spend enough adequate time in the most powerful part of the gait action, which is the stance gait, it's useless. If you notice, look at my opponent. He's got at least 100 pounds on me. If I don't know how to root to the ground, all he has to do is bum rush me. But I'm moving the whole time, even though I'm not running from him. I use my nimbleness, but at the same time, I'm using it for my hands. One of the things I like to do is set up my hands through my feet, but quickly. And you'll see what I mean. Okay? Now watch how I use it. I'm right there. Watch my legs with my hands. Cultivate and maintain. Cultivate. If you're, again, I'll say this again before we move on. If you are not spending more time in your stances when you're first learning than your hands or these forms, you're training the wrong way and you will not be able to use it. Don't argue with me. See how I use my footwork? I sink and I fall to spit. And watch where the energy flows. Bam. I don't just pull my hand back. I sink. Rooted. Access. I rarely am not floating, but I'm still mobile. I already sunk. He can't tell. He thinks my weight is right here on my right side, but it's right there because I sunk real quick. Guys, this isn't a dance. You got to hide your techniques. Look at that. I'm rooted here, but I'm beginning to root here. Boom. He doesn't even notice it. He thinks I'm rooted here, but I'm not. I'm still rooted here. That swung all the way around. And then I sink when I put up a pace out. I bring it up, inch power. Boom. Sink. Bam. Beautiful. Cultivate rooted access. In motion, a stance in motion. Still moving. Look at that switch. It's almost like cocking a gun. Watch this. Watch my left foot. Bam, 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 bam. See my left foot? Watch me sink real quick. Boom. Look at that. Okay. Next one. Iron fingers can strike a vital point. This one is a multi-layered explanation, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the people, I've seen a lot of comments about folks talking about, oh man, can you talk more about that? Can you show us how, Sifu? Right? I get so much flack for saying the word Sifu, but like, I'm not calling myself a master, dude. I'm not. You know, the first time somebody called me that, it was right before COVID shut down. I was shocked. I was literally shocked. Me? What did you just call me? A master? They call me master. You know, there's a book by my one of my friends, um, Princess and Sister Karen Eatman, right? Of Kempo, right? She wrote a book called "They Call Me Master." Just the title alone. Go read that book. Anyway, this one is a multi-layered discussion or breakdown because there's a lot going on in here, even though it's such a short thing. So the first thing that I'll say concerning using the iron fingers, right? For those who got a problem with it, dude, just watch it. This isn't fake. Like it's like, how can you argue with that when I'm showing it to you? This isn't like there's no faking going on. And you can only get these type of iron fingers not by hitting your hand on stuff alone. Gotta have the negong. Without the negong, without the iron body, it's pointless. When you practice, for example, and for those who are interested in this, I have been practicing up until like 3 weeks ago because I'm showing somebody else. For the last 2 years, I've been doing it, the iron bodies, 3 battles, 3 times a day, every single day. I started in 2020, 3 times a day, every day. It takes 100 days to get gone. How many days is that? Okay. In order to use this, when you do it, okay, now I shouldn't be saying this online, but I'm gonna give you guys a little, if you've been watching this long, I'll give you guys a little treat, a little jewel, okay? When you're doing the Samchin, Sanchin, 3 battles, iron body. This one specifically, it's not just the arms. Don't lead with the arms. You lead with the fingers the whole time, the hands, except for maybe a few parts. But for the majority of the time, and the one that I learned, okay, from the Chukad, the Chukwam Mantis, shout out to Uncle Yasser Bill Grami. I hope I'm not butchering your name, man. If I am, I apologize. But the hands, the fingers, they always are basically engaged the whole time. Learn, and there are tendons that run from the fingers all the way throughout the body. Okay. Now, if you do that with the Negong, you do a few things. Okay. The first thing you do is you feel the connection through your fingers throughout the whole body. What does that mean? Can anybody tell me what that means? practicing the connections and feeling the whole body in motion from the fingers all throughout the body. Strings sound familiar for guys who are into the five ancestors fist, which, by the way, this Neigong, right, is the foundational form in the five ancestors, right? Such a wonderful Neigong. I'm so blessed to have it. When you practice this form and weaving these strings, not only do you practice getting power from certain parts of the body through your fingers, but sensitivity wise, as you guys will see later, when I put my hands on you, I can feel you through my feet immediately because I practiced the sensitivity of those strings for so long. Without this Neigong, without practicing that connection, it will never work. You'll just be going like a hammer, right? Trying to hit a nail. No, you can't think like that. You can't do it like that. It's subtle. Short power. If you trying to learn Hakka Kung Fu and the person that's teaching you can't do anything remotely closer to this, I'm not saying I'm a master, but as Adam Chen has said it, a lot of people can only do short power in certain directions. Okay? If you can't do it in short and hit the finger with the fingers of the hand, you need more training. And I'm doing this for example. Okay, we'll start with this one, and I'll show you the Senchin, not application, but the principle within it. It's a good idea. So, for example, iron fingers can strike a vital point at once. I really shouldn't be showing this. I'm gonna show a little bit. Okay. For example, did I bring this back? Let me bring this back a little bit. Okay. For example, okay, let's do this. Let's go to the technique. This one. Okay. Now, even though this body form with my hands this way is really not in the Senchen, I'm going to show you where it exists. All right, let me see. Let me go back here. Okay. So you can see my hands are kind of like this, like so. Right. If you look at my body, okay, I'm sunk. Even though it looks like I'm forward, I'm still sinking this way. He can't see that I'm sprung backwards. Even though my torso is here, I'm still maintaining the principles. And you can see through the inside of my arms here, I'm concaving my chest, right? Even though it looks like I'm going forward, I'm expanding. And the expanding through this type of frame is everywhere in the form. For example, okay, when I bring my hands up, I'm gonna set here. Now I go into my horse stance, and the first move in the Sanxian, after you do the preparation, is this. Okay, and then I come in. I'm rounded. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the camera while doing this. So I'm right here. Okay, even though my hands are right here, I can also have them up here, right? And there's also a part in this Sun Chin form. Let me see where it's at. Okay. So after I do some things, I come in and I'm here, and then I open, and then I do this. Okay. And you can clearly see that. Now, just because I'm practicing it this way does not mean I can't do it this way, or do it this way, or do it this way. Alignment is cool when practicing, but you can still be aligned in the same principle at a different vector. What I'm doing is nothing different from when I'm up here. I can bring the same alignment down. When I come here, this is still the same principle. When I come here, that's the same principle. The vector changes. Okay? So now when I bring this hand down, watch. Look at that. From right there. Wow, that was short. I'm gonna have to slow this down a little bit more. I'm feeling like I'm Bruce Lee. And for those asking, yes, my last name is really Lee. I didn't get it changed. All right? I have no reason to lie. Why would I lie about that? Anyway, now watch this. Watch the short. Look at that. Sync. You see how number one, rooted access. Watch how I'm rooted and I slide into the root. Remember, add on. I'm rooted. But I'm sunk. My whole body is. That means I'm charged. When you guys sync, there's a thing in Hakka Kungfu called charging. Okay? When I sync, I'm not just bracing for whatever to come. No. That's me sending, shout out to Chevelle, send the pain below, send the charge, what you're going to hit them with low. It's in my root. It's not stuck somewhere, right? So even when I'm right here, just like this, I'm charged. And I can hit very hard from very short distance. For example, as you'll see here, watch how many inches or degrees this part of my hand comes down. Woo! What? It's like 10 degrees, 15 degrees maybe. Just right here. Just right here. Just right here. Now you got to see what part of the rooted axis plays a part in inch power. So you guys, you got to slow this down. I make it epic when I'm presenting it. If you really want to see what's going on, slow it down. Right? And then you can see it in action. Now, because I have a rooted axis, I can move, traverse in my stance. When you're sinking in your stance, right? That's a part of your body in a degree of gravity. I can go from this stance, but my whole body is engaged and prepped. You can move with that. It's like a house, right? But that can move, just like in Final Fantasy. Same thing, right? Now, when I'm in my stance and I can traverse with it, not only is my whole body engaged, but I can sync my power. This is pulling back the gun. 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 If I can move with a constant charge, okay, I can release it at any point. So this technique of the iron fingers, which comes from, again, the Senshin, if you guys are interested in one-on-one online training, you can email me, right? And the proof is in the pudding. I show you what the point of it's for. If you don't know the point and you can't see the points, you don't know what's going on physically, you're not going to know how to put that into application. And as you guys can see, that is my specialty. I did a lot of research. I didn't ask a whole lot of questions, okay, to other people. I asked them to myself, right? And because I'm in a rooted axis, in a stance, I can let it go, blast it at any point. Because of the Neigong, which specializes in bringing the hand, using the fingers, right, to get power from the body, right, find the connection of these tendons of them from the tarsals. I can release that. Look at how I sink into it right there, just right there. Now I'm just not hitting his arm. I'm not just hitting his arm. It's part of the Demak, okay? You have to be very precise in this. Very precise. Because if you don't, you're leaving yourself open. If you're missing points, okay, you're going to get punched in the face. You're going to get knocked out. Okay? If you don't have that Neigong to get that short power, you're going to be trying to doing this, and you're going to leave yourself open. When I do an iron palm stuff or whatever, I'm not going to literally hit somebody like that in that angle, because the person's not going to stand there and let you do it. You guys got to open your mind. Now, when I'm hitting him, I'm not just hitting him. There's a radial and all the nerves all throughout the forearm. There are 5 major nerves in the arm, and they run all throughout. I'm hitting the ulnar nerve. And as you guys seen in my last video, right, you see what the ulnar nerve does. If you don't know it, type in ulnar nerve House of Kung Fu, and it's one of my second most popular videos. My first one got 1,500 views, right? I think 2,000 now, right? And another thing I'll say about this, you guys, look, I know you guys like the Dimmock and the touch of death and all that stuff, but you guys, the point of this is really to really interest somebody. If you don't know how to help out somebody, bro, you shouldn't be using this. Bro, murder is a real thing. If you use this stuff, bro, and you end up killing somebody, bro, like, you're going to jail. I've been doing Qigong, medical Qigong for about 10 years, bro. Through the Yang Jring Ming lineage, bro. Like one-on-one stuff. Okay? If I seriously hurt him through his ulnar nerve, bro, I'm not saying I'll be able to save him, but I can at least do something at that point to save his arm. you know what I mean, if you lose consciousness or something, right? I know how to provide therapy. I'm not a doctor, but in that moment, yeah, I can figure out something how to do to at least help the process and bring the inflammation down and have him relaxed. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't use this willy nilly, bro. It could really hurt somebody, right? And so, if you guys aren't like when you guys doing iron palm stuff, dude, I'm not banging my fingers against trees and cement. That's not how I got this. I kid you not. Okay? You need the Negong. And the property isn't like a. Now watch this one. Look how short this is. You can see me smiling. Now after that point, notice my ops on my strikes before I hit him with my iron fingers. Watch this. Okay, he's throwing his hands out, right? But after getting hit with the fingers from a scyther, watch his hands now. He doesn't even want to fully extend. He's worried about the retraction besides extension, right? That's what hitting that ulnar nerve can do to a person psychologically. Ah, ah. It's like, you know what I mean? Which makes it really easy for you to jam them up, right? After they get hit for a second, when they start flinching, get them. Stuff like that. But you gotta be calm. Look at I'm in a stance. I'm not just no. Look, I'm totally relaxed. I'm in a stance. Watch how I use my stance to help me propel my arms. You guys got to look at things different. None of this is separate. Watch my left leg, because I'm going to hit him with my left finger. See how I shift? Look at that. Sunk the whole time. And watch my left leg. Boom. Again, watch my stances. Boom. Shift, 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 root, root, sink. Shift. Rooted, access. Bam. This time I hit the radial nerve, which does something different. If you don't know what the radial nerve does, go look at my most watched video with 1,500 likes. Thank you again. Look at that. There you go. Hit trapping. Okay. We'll just see what this does. Now this is when I first got this stuff. All right. This was over a year ago. So the way I move now is a better version of this. But there's a lot that goes on in here. There's a lot going on in this. Hey, I'm proud of myself. That was kind of cool. Ooh, it's 6:30 in the morning. Oh my God. I need to get some sleep, y'all. Okay. It's that motivation, man. When you feel it, you just can't help it. Now, let's look at this. Let's read these principles. Because remember, we're trying to use both sides of our hemispheres here, right? Our analytical and our visual, right? Let's read and feel. Hit trapping. Now, my Cantonese dialect is not good. Fonda, more geared to Mandarin than I am the Cantonese. Anyway, this movement is the embodiment of what is known as Lin Sil Dai Dot. To deflect an attack in one movement beat, to apply this one is one of the highest skills in boxing. Now, look, I didn't write that. Okay? Those aren't my words. Okay? I didn't make that principle up. Okay? So just because I can show a little bit of it doesn't make me like, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world or I've completed my training. Like, am I not allowed to like be excited of my growth and development? If I mess up, I want to show people that I'm messing up. If it's not perfect, I want to show people that it's not perfect so they can see the transition. This isn't me set in stone like I need to stop improving, right? But look what I can do this far along. You can't say it's not even remotely impressive. Come on. You know? So hit trapping to deflect and hit in one movement beat. Next one, simultaneous offense and defense. Use of offense as defense. A hand used for an attack also serves to parry. Okay. So if you were to imagine that to yourself, what does that mean? See that in your mind from these words. Do you imagine an It Man video hitting the dummy or doing drills, chisao? Is that what you see when you see hit trapping? See this principle? Is that what you see? Let me tell you something. Hit trapping is nothing that you've never seen before. Not at all. It happens in boxing all the time. Western boxing happens all the time. All the time. You guys have to open your mind. Okay? And what I mean is, drills aren't fighting applications. Drills are not fighting applications. A fight is a fight. Things change at a very rapid pace. You don't know what the person is going to throw. You don't know when they're going to throw. In a real life situation, there is no weight class. There is no hold on. Right? Put these gloves on so you don't hurt me because you're twice as big as me. Absolutely not. If anything, expect a bigger person to try to combat you in real life, not somebody your size or your weight. Expect to be at a disadvantage. Anyway, I say all this to say, drills are not techniques. Watch this. Deflect and hit, right? That's what they said. An attack, a hand used for an attack or a weapon, serves also to parry. Defense, use of offense as defense. Follow me. Now, remember the first attributes, first principles. Maintain a rooted access. Iron fingers can strike a vital at once. If you want to think about that outside of the iron, right? An anatomical weapon, something that's really hard, can hit a vital point in a blast, in a flash, in a second. Okay? Rooted access. Use of simultaneous defense and offense. Now imagine a rooted object that's made of iron, or at least feels like iron when you hit it, can hit a vital at once, but also use the same weapon to move whatever you're throwing out the way and damage it. Hitting a vital, damage your weapon, and then attack you from the center. Hitting you twice with iron, rooted. That means your energy is sent to the ground and blocking you and hitting you at the same time. Not like boom, boom, or huh, huh. No. This hurts. I'm rooted. Send it to the ground and stopping you and hitting you at the same time. Anywhere with any weapon. Anytime. Watch. He's shocked. That really hurt. He tries to fake with his hands, so I bring my hands up and I kind of like an X block guard, right? Really, those are ginger fists, right? And from the iron body form, this a lot, right? But it's also in a iron body I learned called Stone Warrior, right? When you're doing stuff like this, right? It's kind of both of those because I don't use the gingerfish and Stone Warrior. It's very Northern Shaolin-esque, right? But I use that same principle. Just put a gingerfish on it, which does something different, but we won't get into that. Okay. I follow him. I match him. I'm chasing his shadow. Uh-oh. Shadow? Chasing the shadow. Following. He throws a knee or his leg comes up. See where my hand is? Right at the base of his foot. Watch that again. It's very slow. And attacking him. Look what I use though. I'm using almost like a diagonal gaucho almost. Or like a peisao. I thought it was going to extend, so I tried to aim for the nerve on the inside of the knee. If you tap right here on the inside of your knee, that's really sensitive there. That's a yin point. Okay. Ideally, I would love to go for yin points, which are on the inside of the lens rather than the yang points. But it's harder to hit the yin points because you're really inside, right? And when you're so close inside, it's really about chest moves and speed. Okay. I know I have the speed advantage, so I like to go for yin points, and I know I'm strong. So I go for that, and he doesn't extend the leg. So I go to the next thing, the base of the foot, right at the point of the edge of the weapon. If he decides to do a side kick, but if he decides to do a front kick, the way my fist is pointed down, and that comes from the Phoenix Eye fist and the ability to focus the energy in the body and the arm into a single point, or chidori, I can stop it from going forward. Watch again. Watch my right hand. X block from Stone Warrior. Okay, he doesn't extend the limb, so that point is missed. But now, that foot can come forward, diagonal, side kick, snap up. Now, I went this way to try to hit the nerve, but I Saw I didn't extend, so I went down. And I didn't just go down. Very precise angle, timing, and accuracy. If you're not doing accuracy training with your moves and just doing forms, you're wasting your time. You're going to get knocked out. So a target moves. At least the targets that I do, they move. I go for the kill. I'm not trying to knock you out. I want to hit you so you don't want to throw. Ideally. Watch my hand. If he pushed forward, I'm bringing my leg up. If he decides to do a front kick, I'm going to punch. There's a soft spot right at the base of the toe, and right next to the toe after the big toe. Right in that area, in that surface area, there's a point there. And it's a soft spot. And with the Phoenix Eye, because I didn't have gloves on, I can hit that divot. Ooh. And because I have the short power and I'm rooted, not only can I send his force to the ground, but if it's coming up while I'm sinking, I can use the ground force to hit it. And the harder he hits, the more it's going to hurt him. Watch what I do with my right leg. Oh, sticky legs. Now the threat of my hand hitting one of his inside limbs, inside of his limbs, his endpoints. He retracts back because he knows what happens if he gets too close and he leaves that limb out there. Something's going to get hit and it's going to hurt. Remember, iron fingers can strike a vital at once. Look at his reaction after this. Boom. Huh. That hurt. Damn. That was an involuntary action. When you know the nerve points, it does something to you. When you get hit on the nerve to the point where your body is moving, is getting hit, and you're moving in a way that hurts to the point where you can't control what your body does. Imagine that. Imagine getting hit to the point where your body, and it's very slight, it's so slight that it shocks you. Shocks you. How do you get that power? Remember the iron body Negong? Now, without the iron body Negong, if you cannot, I repeat, if you cannot gather the energy, the short power, the Gentai Ging, if you cannot gather that, if you cannot get that, you will not be able to use the short power. I will repeat one more time. If you do not have the iron body Negong, you will not be able to use the Hakka Kungfu. Now, because I know I have short power, gathered from the stances and the iron body Negongs. When I hit him, very slightly, I shock him. Involuntary action. Makes him immediately step back. He outweighs me by 100 pounds. Look at that. Second guessing him putting his hands up, which makes it easier for me to do what? Trap him. Now I'm able to use defense as offense because there's a constant threat. These guys, these principles aren't separate. I can be relaxed now. I know if I just touch him, I can stand there rooted in my stance. I'm rooted. A shifting axis. Now I'm rooted here. I push off of that to sink into the ground for this move. Opposing forces. Accuracy. Short power. Look at that stick. I'm sticking to him. He knows. Man, the last time I left my limb out there, something got hit and it hurt and it shocked me. He brings it back, which enables me to do what? That's a side, what I'm doing is a side kick chamber. But if you have the iron body Negong, okay, when I'm traveling, see, I'm bringing my legs up. When I'm traveling, moving back and forth in the iron body Negong, now I'm working my hips, my obliques, inner thigh, outer thigh, core, to be able to control the power of the side kick to make it sticky. Look at that. That's beautiful. Now, it wasn't as perfect as I wanted it because I didn't even know I could do that at that point. Right? But you can see, look at that. Beautiful. Sliding down. Look at that. And he's stronger than me, so he pushes me a little bit because he's a little bit stronger than me. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just follow it. If I would have forced that, right, he's stronger than me. I use his own strength against him. Watch it again. Look at that. Do you know how hard that is? Look at that. I push. I was shocked that I did it. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? Ideally, I want to push him down this way. But then I noticed I started to, but he was stronger than me. He outweighs me by 100 pounds. So I follow the force. If you guys don't practice being rooted at different angles when you don't have balance, when you face an opposition that's stronger than you, you're not going to know what to do. And it takes a second to get knocked out. Less than a second. Especially when you are on one leg. I know how to follow it from my Qigong training. Oh, and not just any Qigong training, though. If you're interested in that, please email me, thehouseofkungfu@gmail.com. thehouseofkungfu@gmail.com. Traditional Qigong. Remember, my lineage is from Yan Jingming. And one of his best students taught me personally for the last 5 years. Okay? None of this stuff is separate. Again, stop with the left brain thinking. The Qigong and the Ningong aren't separate. It's a Western type of mentality. If you guys are going to use traditional arts that combine both sides of the consciousness, You guys got to start living like it. You can't just choose to apply it and when just to ignore it. Just be a little bit insane, right? Now watch. I flow with him since he's stronger than me. And I use that. I'm not forcing it. I do it to the point where I just kind of match him. It's not like Adam Chan used to say. Uh, and then you could also look at the first movie of Shaolin with Jet Li when he had to do the log stuff. You don't want to slam on it. You want to hide your intentions like a ninja. Watch this. I follow it. I'm like, okay, I got him. I'm like, oh, he's strong right there. So let me follow it and use that. I'm rooted. And I use that, trapping him and hitting him. Look where I hit, though. I hit at both sides points of his fulcrum. I moved his balance to hit the ground, so really he's kind of twisted. And before he can, his hand is all the way back here because he has the threat of the iron body, Negong. He got hit with the fingers already. And look what I do. Look at that. Perfect accuracy. He thinks I'm going for the head. If you're bigger than me, that's an advantage for me. I mean, I don't know what they tell you, right? That's an advantage for me if you're bigger than me. That means more of your vital spots are easier to see. And you're not going to be moving out of the way as much. That's what that tells me. Beautiful. Look at that. I follow it. And I see his hand. He could strike with that hand, but look where I hit on his hand. Boom! See the thread of the iron body, Negong? He bring that back. He still feels that pain. Still feels the pain. He brings it back. He traps himself for me. Mami Tofu. He trapped himself for me. Like my little puppet. With a threat. I'm sunk. Bam! Now, I use the same hand. Remember what the principal said? Deflect and attack in one movement beat. Offense and defense use. Attack hand also serves to parry. Now, I'm only attacking with the right hand. Except for right there. No, I didn't want to break my friend's wrist. So I kind of let go of this china. But again, watch again as I share this to another group because I'm going in. Okay. Now, just watch my right hand the whole time. Watch my right hand. Watch it one more time as I share this to another group. Really need a team to do this. They're asleep. Watch my right hand. So far we've learned stances, pivot access. Iron fingers can strike a vital at once, which means Short power can really strike a vital. And now, the same attacking hand can be served to use as a parry. Now, what do we have here next, ladies and gentlemen? What's next? This is one of my favorite applications and one of my favorite principles. Thorns. This represents a level of indirect striking that is employed when there is a greater attack pressure from the opponent. Greater attack pressure from the opponent. The primary anatomical weapon used is the elbow. I would disagree with that. However, anything can be used. Even a gauchoi falls into this category, and that I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that. Specifically the gauchoi, right? And the reason I say the gauchoi is because it's a very versatile weapon. The principle of it alone. But let's go on these thorns. This will be the last one for tonight, for this morning, for this afternoon for you. Lightning. This is by far my favorite. What does it say? Although, well, whoops. Lightning. Although this principle is used most often, known in the Indonesian Salat, aspects of it can be found in many systems. When engaging the opponent, it is important that no matter how slight the contact, that the attacker must be scared, bruised, and marked by the encounter. Scorched by the pain, the opponent's spirit is damaged and their shen is weakened. Shen is weakened. How slight the contact, scared, bruised. Thorns and lightning. How slight the contact. I'm rooted. I've all really been practicing lightning this whole time. Watch. Build an invisible bridge. You guys didn't see that. That was pretty smooth. Watch how I do that. You don't just do techniques, man. You got to set them up. Watch again. My hands are in tansao, right? And I just flip them over. Now, I went for it, but I felt like he was going to move his hands. So I just flowed with it. Then I put it into my whole body. Okay. Now I'm sunk. It's hard to see what happens when he hits my thorn. But what I believe what happened is I like to put up a shield, right? I noticed I had a very good ability I have good eyes and accuracy. So I can see when a person is about to hit. I know how to use, and I think they call it defang the snake, right? In some systems. I know how to hit a person's weapon, whether it be their fist, the inside of their arm, the outside of their arm, right? So when you throw the punch, thorns, you gotta sink and expand at the same time, essentially. Right? And you have to time it, right? If you guys don't time it, then, it leaves you open, Yeah, but at least you sunk too. So I mean, hey, try to time it if you're going to use it, and you got to have accuracy. Right? I'm not taking the force as soon as he does it. I'll wait till the force gets to me. I only move when I have to. Remember that. Boom. Bam. The force of the ground, coupled with the sinking and expanding. Right? Kind of looks like this. Right? Right? And then the iron body Negong. Right? Coming this way. Right? It's the same principle, right? It's the same. It's the same principle. Okay. The same principle is right here. Bam. That hurts. Watch what he does. Instead of throwing that bare fist, look what he does. He throws the elbow. And of course, he's reacting because he's trying to hit me back from what he felt instead of setting it up. But it pays. Just a simple this. Right here in this divot. Now, I don't usually like to do overhand stuff like this, but it's a short one, though, right? A short hammer fist. And now, because he brung his target to me, I really don't have to travel that far. Because you can see that I'm sunk as I do it. Watch this. I sink. Just one of these. Very quickly. I'm not really torquing as much. I'm pushing off the ground. Watch again. See how I push off the ground and I just straighten my leg. Watch this. I sink. Stances again. Pivot access. Watch my legs. Short power, people. Boom, boom. Sunk. Rooted access. I stopped because I didn't want to hurt my friend. But watch how you do this. Say if you don't miss. Say if you do miss. Watch this. Watch his reaction. Shocked. Scared. Bruised. What happened? What made him have that reaction? It wasn't that because I didn't hit him. But to be able to stop your power at a dime and stick with him. Rooted access. When I'm rooted, I sink into him. I sunk into him. While preserving him. I let him move me. Walking on those logs, remember? Jet Li, Shaolin Temple, rooted access. Iron Fingers can strike a vital at once. Could have struck his vital, but I decided not to. Same hand. Hit trapping, remember? That can be used as an attack, can also be used as a parry. More or to whisk it away. Watch again. Watch this. I move him. Look at him looking at his hand. Cannot believe it. Watch one more time. a sink, rooted access. Dog stepping. Watch one more time. Watch my feet. Watch my rooted access. Axis. I said access. Axis. Boom. My root is right here. My left foot. Now, watch what I do with that root. Watch how I put it on an axis. Boom. Shift to my right. Keeping it. Rooted axis. Oh, that's beautiful. One more time. No matter how slight the contact, the opponent must be bruised, scared, shen, weakened. I want to thank you all for coming to spend some time with me here at the House of Kungfu. All right. God bless you all. And look, guys, one more thing before I go. Feel how you want to feel about me. It's me as a person. Okay. The fact of the matter remains is that if what said people were to be true, that I am this bad person, then why? For 20 years, 20 years, I was blessed and fortunate enough because God gave me the attribute of hard work and honor and respect and consistency because I had that. I was blessed to receive one-on-one training, inner door type of training. Every single one of my senseis, sifus, boxing coaches, wrestling coaches, taekwondo, right? Qigong, iron body Qigong, conditioning. If I was such a bad person, even to this day, still one-on-one training for 20 years. If I was such a bad person, would this continue happening?